Children need maths to be real and concrete. They need to understand how large numbers are and what they're doing with them. It's not just a trick, and it's not just a method that they write down and go through a number of steps. We use equipment like these Dean's blocks to help them visualise what they're doing. So for example, this is a unit. This is a rod of 10 because 10 of these fits into the whole rod. And this is 100 because 10 of these fits into the whole 100. So we know that 10 times 10 is 100. At home you could use 1p's, 10p's and pounds. It's really helpful for the children to get a sense of how much a number is worth depending on which column it falls into. And I'll say a little bit more about that. If we're adding 37 and 25, for example, when we're talking about adding by partitioning, what we mean is that we're going to partition these numbers. That means separating the tens and the units numbers up so that the children find it easier to add them together. If your child finds it useful, you could help them to write on top which is the tens number and which is the units number. Sometimes when children partition a number, they will think that this is worth 2 and this is worth 5, which obviously gives you a total of 7, not 25. So it's really useful to use something that gives them a sense of the value of each digit. So here we have 2 tens for this 2, that this is worth 2 tens, not 2 units, and that this part of the number is worth 5 units. I've got 6 there. There's 5. So when we partition this number, we have a 20 and we have a 5. Similarly with this number, we have a 30 and we have a 7. One way of carrying on from this point is to first of all add the tens, 30 and 20, which gives us 50. And then we have the units, 7 add 5. To do this mentally, we'd start with a larger number, the 7. We would add on 3 to get to 10, and then it's to the other side. So mentally what I'm doing in my mind is starting at 7, adding on 3 to get to 10, and then I know I've got 2 left of my 5 to get to 12, because 3 and 2 makes my 5, so that's a 12. Then the children need to add together their tens and their units. So we then have 50, add 12, which gives us a total of 62. So we know that 37 add 25 is 62. Another way of doing this, when we've got our partition numbers, is to start at the larger number, 37, and add just the tens from the other number. So 37 add 20. 10 more than 37 would be 47, and then another 10 more would be 57. We've then got to remember, have we dealt with all of our numbers? We have dealt with our 37 and our 20, but not our 5 units. We then need to count on 5 from 57. We could do this mentally, or if that's too much for them to hold in their mind at that point, we can put it on a number line. 57, we're adding on 5 to jump to the nearest 10. Next 10 is going to be 60, and that's a jump of 3. Then we've got 2 left from our 5 to add, and that gets us to 62.